Today we'll uncover the 10 most powerful reasons why the US military stands as the #1 force in the world. According to the Global Firepower Index 2025, the United States ranks first out of 145 nations, with a power index score of 0.0744. At first glance, Russia at 0.0788 and China at 0.0792 seem close competitors. On paper, the numbers look close, but in military reality, that small difference is a massive gulf. When it comes to raw firepower, limitless funding, global reach, and lightning-fast deployment, no nation even comes close to the US military. Now, let's dive into the details and uncover the reasons why the US military stands unmatched as the most powerful force in the world. Number 1. Unmatched defense budget. Money is the bloodstream of military power, and in this arena, the United States towers above all. In 2024, the U.S. defense budget reached $997 billion, the highest in history. That's almost 40% of global military spending. To put this in perspective, China, the world's second-largest spender, allocated about $296 billion, roughly one-third of the U.S. Russia spent only $109 billion, less than the annual budget of the U.S. Navy alone. Even combined, China and Russia together barely cross 40% of U.S. spending. The U.S. spends 3.4% of its GDP on defense in 2025. That may sound modest compared to past wars. During Iraq and Afghanistan it was 5%, during Vietnam it peaked near 10%, and during the Korean War it soared above 14%. This historical consistency proves one thing: Washington always ensures its war machine never starves. But where does this ocean of money flow? U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Space Force, 6 distinct branches, each with billion-dollar portfolios. Cutting-edge programs like the F-35 stealth fighter, $1.7 trillion lifetime cost, Columbia-class nuclear submarines, and missile defense systems eat massive chunks of the budget. Just maintaining America's 11 aircraft carriers costs more than Russia's entire annual defense budget. Number 2. Advanced technology and innovation. In modern warfare, technology is the sharpest blade, and the United States wields it better than anyone. The U.S. military has always been decades ahead of its rivals in advanced weapons. From the stealth revolution of the F-117 Nighthawk in the 1980s to today's F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II, America has mastered the skies with planes nearly invisible to radar. By 2025, over 1,000 F-35s are already in service worldwide, not only with the U.S. but also with close allies, multiplying Washington's technological footprint. At sea, the U.S. Navy deploys nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, each a floating city of war with more power projection than the entire Russian Navy. Supporting them are Virginia-class submarines equipped with advanced sonar, stealth coating, and cruise missiles capable of striking targets thousands of miles away. But the innovation doesn't stop at land, air, and sea. The U.S. was the first nation to establish a dedicated Space Force, 2019, recognizing that the next battlefield is orbit itself. With over 5,000 active satellites in orbit, compared to China's about 700 and Russia's around 170, the U.S. has dominance in navigation, communication, and surveillance. Space is America's high ground. In cyber warfare, the U.S. operates U.S. Cyber Command, integrating digital offense and defense. In 2023 alone, the U.S. government allocated $12.7 billion to cybersecurity for the Department of Defense, dwarfing Russia and China's official cyber budgets, which are far smaller and often shrouded in secrecy. Now, compare this to rivals. China is advancing rapidly in AI, drones, and hypersonic missiles, having tested weapons like the DF-17 hypersonic glide vehicle. But much of its technology is either reverse-engineered or still catching up to U.S. standards. Russia boasts innovations like the Avangard hypersonic system and S-400 air defense systems, but sanctions, corruption, and limited industrial capacity hinder mass production. Number 3. Nuclear arsenal and strategic deterrence. If advanced technology is America's sword, then its nuclear arsenal is the unbreakable shield. The United States maintains one of the largest and most sophisticated nuclear forces in the world, built on what's called the nuclear triad. 1. Land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, currently 400 Minuteman III missiles spread across hardened silos in the Midwest. 2. Submarine-launched ballistic missiles, SLBMs, carried by 14 Ohio-class submarines, each capable of firing 20 Trident II D5 missiles with extreme accuracy. 3. Strategic bombers, aircraft like the B-52 Stratofortress and B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, capable of delivering both nuclear gravity bombs and cruise missiles. This triad ensures that even if one leg is destroyed in a surprise attack, the other two guarantee retaliation, making any full-scale strike against the U.S. suicidal. By the numbers, 2025 estimates, source: SIPRI and Federation of American Scientists. United States, 5,044 total warheads, with 1,770 deployed. Russia, 5,580 total warheads, with 1,710 deployed. China, 500 warheads, rapidly modernizing but still far behind. On raw numbers, Russia technically has more, but here's the twist: capability matters more than quantity. Many Russian warheads rely on aging Soviet-era delivery systems, while U.S. forces are backed by the world's most advanced targeting, command, and control networks. China is in the middle of a massive expansion, projected to reach 1,000 warheads by 2030, but it lacks the proven triad strength of Washington. The U.S. is also modernizing, spending over $1.5 trillion on programs like the B-21 Raider stealth bomber, the Columbia-class nuclear submarine, and the Ground-Based Strategic Deterrent, GBSD, to replace Minuteman missiles. Here's the bottom line. Russia may have slightly more warheads, but America's technology, survivability, and reliability make its arsenal the most credible deterrent on Earth. And against China, the gap is not just wide, it's almost a generation apart. This nuclear umbrella doesn't just protect America, it extends to allies in Europe and Asia, strengthening U.S. leadership worldwide. Number 4. Strong alliances, comparative style. Raw power means little without friends. Here, too, the U.S. stands unmatched. The United States is the center of the world's strongest military alliance network, led by NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO has 32 member states, as of 2024, with Finland and Sweden newly joined, representing over 3.2 million active troops, compared to Russia's 1.15 million and China's 2 million. Defense spending tells an even clearer story. NATO members collectively spent over $1.3 trillion in 2024, with the U.S. covering about 70% of that total. Russia, in comparison, spent $109 billion, China spent $296 billion, far smaller coalitions. Beyond NATO, America maintains powerful bilateral alliances. Japan and South Korea in East Asia both host tens of thousands of U.S. troops and advanced systems like THAAD missile defenses. Australia under the AUKUS Pact, giving it access to U.S. nuclear submarine technology. Middle East partners like Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar rely on U.S. arms and protection. Neither Russia nor China commands alliances of this scale. Russia is tied to a weak grouping called the CSTO, Collective Security Treaty Organization, but many members, like Armenia, have distanced themselves after Russia's poor performance in Ukraine. China relies on partnerships like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, but these are more diplomatic than military. In short, the U.S. doesn't fight alone, it commands coalitions that multiply its strength. Number 5. Global logistics and power projection. True military power is measured not just by weapons, but by the ability to move them anywhere, anytime. The U.S. military possesses unmatched global logistics capabilities, enabling rapid deployment across continents, a critical advantage over rivals like Russia and China. Airlift capacity. The U.S. operates C-17 Globemaster III and C-5 Galaxy transport aircraft, capable of moving hundreds of tons of equipment and troops in a single flight. It also maintains a fleet of air refueling tankers, KC-135 and KC-46, extending the range of fighters and bombers worldwide. Russia has only a fraction of this capability, relying on Il-76 transport aircraft, limited in number, 100 active, and payload, 50 tons versus 77 tons for C-17. China is expanding its fleet, but it still lags behind the U.S., with around 60 Y-20 strategic airlifters currently operational. Naval power projection. The U.S. Navy operates 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, more than the rest of the world combined. China has 2, Russia has 1. Its global fleet includes 22 cruisers, 71 destroyers, and 68 submarines, supported by forward bases and replenishment ships, enabling sustained operations far from home. Russia's fleet is strong regionally but cannot project power across oceans at scale. China is building a blue water navy but still lacks a carrier group capable of sustained worldwide deployment. Rapid deployment exercises. The U.S. routinely conducts global exercises, such as RIMPAC in the Pacific or Defender Europe, moving tens of thousands of troops and heavy equipment across oceans. Russia is largely constrained to Europe and its near abroad, while China's exercises remain regional, mostly in the South China Sea and Taiwan Strait. Strategic implication. The U.S. can deploy a full brigade anywhere within 72 hours and sustain operations for months using pre-positioned stockpiles and logistics networks. Russia and China are limited by geography, fewer transport assets, and less global basing infrastructure. While Russia and China may match or even exceed U.S. capabilities in certain weapons systems, no other military in the world combines firepower with global reach and rapid deployment. This logistical supremacy is a decisive element of American power projection. Number 6. Dominance at sea. Control of the seas has always meant control of global power, and the U.S. Navy reigns supreme. Strategic geography and choke points. The U.S. Navy can operate in all major oceans, securing critical choke points like the Strait of Hormuz, Strait of Malacca, and the Suez Canal. This ensures freedom of navigation for $5 trillion in global trade annually, something neither China nor Russia can guarantee. China's naval influence is largely regional, focused on the South China Sea and the East China Sea, while Russia remains constrained to the Baltic, Black Sea, and Arctic. Forward basing and global presence. U.S. naval bases in Japan, Spain, Bahrain, Singapore, and Diego Garcia provide sustainment and rapid deployment globally. China has one overseas base in Djibouti, and Russia has only one in Syria, limiting operational endurance. Expeditionary and amphibious reach. Beyond ships, the U.S. integrates Marine Corps amphibious operations to project power on land from sea, capable of responding anywhere in the world within days. China's amphibious forces are expanding but remain focused on regional contingencies like Taiwan. Russia's amphibious capacity is minimal and mostly defensive. Strategic implication. The U.S. Navy doesn't just fight wars at sea, it enforces global trade security, deters adversaries, and ensures rapid intervention anywhere in the world. No other nation combines the global strategic footprint with operational flexibility and sustained logistics that the U.S. maintains. The U.S. Navy's combination of size, technology, global basing, and expeditionary capability makes it the definitive force at sea. No other nation comes close to matching its ability to operate across the globe simultaneously. Number 7. Intelligence and surveillance power. In modern warfare, information can be more powerful than missiles, and the U.S. has mastered it. The United States maintains the most advanced intelligence gathering and surveillance network in the world, integrating satellites, signals intelligence, human intelligence, and cyber capabilities. Satellite and space assets. The U.S. operates over 5,000 satellites, providing communications, reconnaissance, navigation, GPS, missile warning, and electronic intelligence. China has about 700 satellites with growing reconnaissance capabilities, while Russia operates roughly 170, mostly older systems. This vast satellite network gives the U.S. real-time situational awareness globally, enabling precision strikes and early warning systems. Signals intelligence and cyber warfare. Agencies like NSA, NRO, and CIA collect signals intelligence worldwide. The U.S. leads in cyber defense and offense, with a cybercom coordinating operations across all military branches. Human intelligence and reconnaissance. The U.S. has thousands of operatives in over 100 countries, embedded in local networks for intelligence gathering. This complements drones, reconnaissance aircraft, like the RQ-4 Global Hawk, and stealth surveillance platforms, enabling situational awareness without exposing personnel. Comparative advantage. Intelligence isn't just collecting data, it's analyzing and acting on it faster than the enemy. The U.S. excels in decision speed, integrating intelligence with global strike capability. From space to cyberspace, the United States collects, processes, and acts on information faster and more accurately than any other power, making its intelligence and surveillance network the backbone of global military supremacy. Number 8. Highly trained and professional force. Weapons and technology are critical, but the soldiers who wield them define true military power. The U.S. military emphasizes elite training, real-world experience, and professional development, creating a force capable of operating in any environment. Active duty and reserve personnel. The U.S. has 1.4 million active duty troops and over 800,000 reserves, supported by advanced training programs and professional development pathways. Russia has around 1 million active personnel, but its training and modernization programs are inconsistent due to budget constraints and reliance on conscripts. China maintains 2 million active personnel, heavily focused on manpower, but much of its force is oriented toward regional defense rather than global expeditionary operations. Elite units and special forces. The U.S. deploys specialized units such as Navy SEALs, Delta Force, Green Berets, and Marine Raiders, trained for counterterrorism, hostage rescue, and high-risk operations. These units regularly gain combat experience in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other deployments, giving them unmatched operational flexibility. Training and simulation. American troops benefit from state-of-the-art training centers, war games, and joint multinational exercises, ensuring readiness across land, air, sea, cyber, and space domains. Experience in combat. U.S. forces have decades of operational experience in asymmetric and conventional warfare, peacekeeping, and coalition operations, from Desert Storm to Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom. This real-world experience strengthens decision-making, coordination, and adaptability under fire. Strategic implication. The U.S. military is not only technologically superior but also professionally superior, capable of executing complex missions anywhere, anytime. The combination of elite units, widespread training, and combat experience ensures that American forces are decisive on the battlefield. A professional, battle-tested, and highly trained force gives the U.S. a qualitative edge over Russia and China, turning advanced weapons and logistics into real-world dominance. Number 9. Global presence. Military power isn't just about what you have at home, it's about where you can project it. The United States maintains an unmatched global footprint, with bases, troops, and fleets positioned around the world to respond quickly to any crisis. Overseas bases. The U.S. operates roughly 800 military bases in over 80 countries, spanning every continent except Antarctica. Key hubs include Germany, Japan, South Korea, Qatar, Bahrain, Italy, and Guam, providing forward staging areas, logistical support, and rapid deployment capability. Russia has one major overseas base in Syria, with minor presence in a few former Soviet states. China has a single overseas base in Djibouti, mainly for logistical support and anti-piracy operations. Regional presence and fleets. The U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet in the Pacific and 6th Fleet in Europe allow power projection in strategic regions, capable of launching operations across thousands of miles and hours. Forward deployed forces and rapid reaction. U.S. forces stationed abroad include tens of thousands of troops in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, equipped with advanced aircraft, armored units, and pre-positioned equipment. This enables rapid response to conflicts, humanitarian crises, or natural disasters, far faster than any rival. Strategic implication. Global presence acts as a force multiplier, extending influence without requiring permanent engagement. It ensures deterrence, reassurance to allies, and the ability to conduct simultaneous operations on multiple continents. No other military matches the scale, reach, and strategic depth of U.S. global deployment. The U.S. military's worldwide presence ensures it is always within striking distance of any hotspot, a capability neither Russia nor China can realistically replicate today. Number 10. Military personnel strength. Numbers matter, but quality combined with quantity is what defines true military might. The United States maintains a well-balanced force structure, combining active duty personnel, reserves, and elite units to create a global force capable of sustained operations. Active and reserve forces. Active duty personnel, 1.4 million. Reserves and National Guard, 800,000. Total deployable strength, 2.2 million, with highly trained specialists in every branch. Russia, 1 million active troops, 2 million reserves, though conscription heavy and less professionally trained. China, 2 million active personnel, with extensive reserves, 510,000, but largely oriented toward regional defense. Skill and specialization. The U.S. invests heavily in training, education, and cross-domain expertise. Personnel are proficient in conventional, asymmetric, cyber, space, and nuclear operations. Elite units like Navy SEALs, Delta Force, and Air Force Pararescue provide unmatched operational flexibility. Force sustainability. U.S. personnel are supported by world-class logistics, medical care, and career development, ensuring long-term operational readiness. Strategic implication. America's combination of size, professionalism, and technological integration enables sustained global operations, multiple simultaneous conflicts, and rapid crisis response. It's not just the number of troops. It's the skill, experience, and readiness of those troops that make the U.S. military the most powerful in the world.